Okay, so here we are. We're going to change out the motor for the Auto Flex. First things, you're going to raise the table up, and then we're going to take this board that I've got in my hand here. I'm showing you. This is probably about 18 inches to 20 inches long. This is so that you can brace up the back. So you're going to do raise the table up, and then we're going to lower the table onto this brace. This will hold it in place while you're changing out the motor. Okay. Make sure it's on the steel part, not on the cushion, underneath the cushion. You want this on the steel. So it's going to hold the back of the table up. Okay, we're just going to lower it enough, give it just a little bit enough stress. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you the control box. You want to make sure that this is unplugged from the wall, okay, before you start doing any work on the motor. We're going to come down, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the wires from inside that little box, and this is a Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to take the cover off. Just undo the screws. As you can see, I'm doing here. Fairly simple. You just take both screws off and this cover comes off. Fairly simple. You're going to use this same screwdriver on the cover of the new motor, so you can take it out and take out the stuff that's inside. There's a little packet inside the new one that came in the box. Okay, now we're gonna start playing with some wires. We're gonna get in, and there's a green screw inside. You're gonna want to turn this so that you can release the ground wire. Okay, this takes a Phillips screwdriver as well, same one. Okay. Going to remove that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take these little orange pieces off the wires, and we're going to undo the wires from each other. And now you're going to want an adjustable wrench, because we're going to undo this plastic piece here that keeps the wire in place. You're just going to undo it enough. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. Just trying to undo it. Turn it enough. Eventually you'll be able to do it by hand, like I'll show. You just basically use a couple of fingers and turn it, and then now you're going to pull the wires out, like so. I have a little struggle with the ground coming out, but it will come out, everything intact. Okay, now you just disconnected the wiring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the a block. This is a little piece of 2x4x4. We're going to take this block and we're going to go around and we're going to put it underneath the motor in the front, like you see me doing here. Okay, this is to keep the motor in place. All right. This is so you're not going to be struggling too much. Now we're going to come over, and there's a block. This is the part that connects the upper part of the table, the flex back, to the motor itself. This is the linkage. And we're going to get a 3/4 inch wrench, like I show here. This is a 3/4 inch wrench. Okay, I don't know if you can read that, but it's 3/4. Okay, then one end is open, one end is closed. So we're going to take the closed end, and we're going to go onto the nut that's here, and we're going to undo it. Just enough, not a lot, but just enough so that we can pull this and slide it off of the motor. Now inside that little box, inside the new motor, in that little box, in the pieces there are some plastic ties, as you can see picture here, that little container has some plastic ties that you're going to use to tie that part up so it's up and out of the way. Okay, just like seeing here, it's up and out of the way, so it's not going to be in your way when you're trying to remove the motor. Okay, now this is a 1/2 inch socket that I'm using. You can always use a 1/2 inch wrench if you don't have a socket. And we're going to undo the bolts to the motor. And there's 4 of them. You can see I'm pointing to 1 and then 2. Okay, we're going to undo this. And once these are undone and you remove the bolts that are on top, okay, you'll be able to remove the motor. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the new motor, and that flange that was on the new motor that helped it stay in that wooden box, we're going to remove it. And this is a 7/16 wrench that I'm using. You can either use a wrench or a socket. And we're going to remove these 4 bolts that are holding it on. Okay. Just remove them all, because you're going to remove this brace. You're actually going to take this brace and put it on the old, back onto the old motor for shipping it back to us. You're done. That way we can be screwed back into the box. You can see I'm struggling a little bit, but basically I'm only struggling because I'm doing this with one hand. I'm holding my camera with one hand and trying to work with this with one hand. But it's fairly simple. Okay, so I'm going to remove it. And then what we're going to do in that little packet, there was some lock nut washers. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put those lock nut washers onto these little bolts that are going to come out, because we're going to replace them into the holes on the new motor. You'll see that in a minute. Okay, come on. Okay, you can see the bench there. Okay, you can see where it's removed in the holes. We're going to take 2 lock washers. We're going to put them on the bolts, and we're going to replace all 4 of them the same way with 2 lock nut washers on all of them. We'll replace them into the table, the motor, into those holes. See what I'm doing? One. You're going to do that step with each one of these bolts, and place them into the holes and tighten them all down. Alright, this is to prevent dust or anything to get in. And we're going to tighten them all down. Alright. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4. We're going to do this for all 4. Okay, now we're going to go back to the table. Now we're ready to take the motor and put it back on the table. We're going to put those nuts into each of the holes from the top, and we're going to bolt it down just like you did when you removed them. Now you're going to do this in reverse. Now you're going to tighten each ones down. What you want to do is do the 2 back ones first, and then do the 2 front ones that are towards the front. Now we're going to put this part back on, the linkage back onto the new motor. Okay, and you're going to tighten down the bolt with a 3/4 inch wrench, like so. Okay. What we're doing is everything in reverse. Whatever we did in the beginning, we're going to do in reverse. So, okay. We're going to make sure this is tight so it doesn't fall off. Okay, now we're going to come up, and now we're going to do the wire. We're going to put this through on the new motor. Okay. You're going to basically, once you get this put through, you're going to attach the ground wire, and then you're going to attach the black wire to the black wire, and the white wire to the red wire. And you're going to use the little plastic pieces that were included in the for putting the wires together. What you do is you put the wires together, twist them, and then put those things over top and twist those, and they will stay in place. Okay, right now I'm tightening down the plastic piece to keep the wires in place into the motor or into that cavity. Okay. Hope this helps everybody how to replace the motor. Now you can see the wires. Now I'm going to put the ground wire onto this one. I'm going to tighten it down with the Phillips screwdriver. Okay. And like I said, you're going to do white to red and black to black. Okay, when you wire it up like so, you can see how they're done. Black to black, white to red. You're going to take the orange pieces, you're going to put over top of the wires and twist them on. Okay. It should look like this. Right, and you're going to just tuck them back in. And we're going to close up that cavity with the cover using the Phillips screwdriver. Okay. We're almost done. It's just a matter of removing the block and taking out the, lifting the table up so this piece of wood that's about 18 to 20 inches long, right, can be removed. And now after that, the table is ready to go. You should be able to use the motor and everything should be good. If not, then just a matter of checking everything. Okay. Hope